beautiful people? I'm Erin, and this is Erin on Demand. And today I'm going to share with you how to get the attention of influencers so that they can post your brand. Now, this video is for you if you are a business owner and you have a product or a service and you're trying to reach out to influencers or content creators to get them to post about it and you're not getting any responses. This can be so frustrating. And as a business owner and an influencer, I have knowledge on the best of both worlds of how to actually get influencers to pay attention to you. Now, here's the thing. A lot of influencers are very picky, especially ones with large audiences. They're very picky on things that they show on their platform, deals that they take from brands, and it's good to be picky. But this doesn't mean that all is in vain for you just because you don't have a large business. You just have to approach it the right way. So let's get into all of my tips. Number one is to have intention and do your research. The most annoying thing when small businesses or brands of any size reach out is when they don't have a clear understanding on the platform. If there was a company who wanted me to promote their press-on nails, but they didn't tell me kind of a little bit about why they think I would be a good fit for that, I'd be like, do you even watch my content? Like, I don't do beauty or nails or things like that. Now, I do keep a fresh set, okay? However, it is important as the brand to start the conversation with some type of point of interest or some type of connection point between you and that content creator. So tell the influencer why you think they would be a great fit for this campaign or how you think he or she can fit their product into their content that makes the most sense for both of you. So that's the first thing, having intention and doing your research to pick the proper influencers and to also make it very clear to them why you think they'd be a great fit for the campaign. Number two is be open to small influencers. You do not have to go for the head honchos in their industry. So if you are trying to get someone to promote your coffee business, you don't have to find a coffee influencer or a lifestyle influencer who has 250,000 followers or 1 million plus followers. Like, start trying to find local influencers who can come by your coffee shop or smaller influencers who maybe teeter around that 10K or less mark, because they are going to be a lot more open to these types of partnerships, a lot more excited to start dabbling into paid deals or even gifted deals. And it's going to be a lot easier to get their attention because large influencers are already, a lot of times our plates are already full with deals that are requiring a lot of our time, a lot of our energy, and they're paying a lot of money. And when that happens, that is where your attention goes. You start to pay more attention to the deals that are actually paying the bills, okay? That's a bar. But that doesn't mean that you still can't reach them. It's just a matter of not being stuck on them and being open to smaller influencers who create really great content, who are really gonna go the extra mile. And the insane thing about this is when you start with a creator who is smaller and you really believe in their content and you show them that early on, baby, when they start hitting those big numbers, getting all that engagement, getting great clicks and all of this stuff, they're going to rock with you forever. There are brands that I will be willing to not charge as much for simply because they have been riding with me from the very, very, very beginning. And that's just the way it goes. So don't be closed-minded to smaller influencers. Big numbers in terms of followers does not always mean that you're going to have the best conversion with that creator. Number three is build an actual relationship with the creator. What I mean by this is it kind of rolls off of the last point I made, but it is really nice, especially when you are not a large brand. So obviously, if there was a brand like Amazon and they sent an email, I obviously recognize Amazon. So I'm more likely to open that email and see what kind of deal they're interested in having. Whereas if Marie's Bakery sends me an email, I'm a lot less likely to open that because I don't know who Marie's Bakery is. Now, It's not nothing against Marie's Bakery. I'm just being honest, okay? Now, if Marie's Bakery have followed me and Marie's Bakery is kind of replying to stories and sending DMs, and I can see that Marie's Bakery is a very loyal part of my community, then once Marie's Bakery does send me an email saying, hey, Erin, I think it'd be such a great idea for you to stop by. I'd love to gift you a free cupcake and see if you can try it out on your stories and let, your community know how it tastes. I am way more likely to open Marie's Bakery's email and even try out Marie's Bakery simply because Marie's Bakery has been a very loyal member of my community. And so building that relationship, I know you guys probably think it is pointless to leave comments and to like and to share your favorite content creators' posts, but I am telling you, I literally see the same people liking, sharing. I pay attention to all of that. And a lot of creators do. They know those avid members in their community. And if you really are a small company trying to get the attention of a content creator, you're going to have to be an active member of their community. And I think it's really smart to kind of do this. Like if you know you're about to roll something out in the next 6 months, then start now, start building that relationship now. And I'm telling you, it is definitely helpful. Number 4 is to be personable. A lot of times these outreach emails, they sound very stoic or they just don't sound great. And a lot of them sound like an AI, like AI has written them or just some random machine. And I think the more personable you can be in your email or your outreach, the better. And it doesn't have to be long. The worst thing is to send a long outreach email. I know it's counterintuitive. A lot of people think the more details, the better, but no, keep it very high level. Let us know, and I'll get into the email details later, but keep it very high level, but also the first couple of lines, make it personable. Like I just announced that I'm pregnant, and I have gotten a lot of outreach emails saying, hey, Erin, congrats on the new baby. Like, so excited for you. Can't wait to blah, 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 like see how that unfolds in your content. It can be just as simple as that. It doesn't have to be like, oh my God, you've changed my life. It can be, but I'm just saying. But I think the more personable you are kind of early on in that email, keep it succinct, but the more likely the creator is going to continue to read. Number 5 is that your email should be clear and concise, and it should include the following. Now, before I tell what it should include, I also want to note that it is okay to send a DM for outreach. So let's say you have already been, you kind of chit-chatted with an influencer that you really connect with in DMs already. That means that your DM is going to be notified, like they're going to get notification that you DM'd them. It won't be stuck in that request DM part of Instagram. So if you've replied to their stories and they've responded back, then that means that if you DM them again, they're going to see that DM if they open it. But it's okay to kind of start that conversation in DMs and then move to email just to kind of segue, because some creators will not see your email. I mean, I don't know. Some people have different filters on their emails. And so if you already have a point of contact with them, start there and then move into email. Okay, so what should your outreach email include? The biggest things are, it should definitely include the name of the creator. It's weird. I know that this sounds like duh, but there are a lot of outreach emails that look really spammy, and they say things like, hi, at Erin on Demand. Like, don't ever do that. Just hi, Erin, or hello, Erin, or, however you start your emails, but make sure you have the person's actual name and you spell it correctly. Okay. The subject line should be very clear as well. Having witty, cool subject lines just does not work. There have been really good sponsorships that I have almost passed up because the subject line just looks kind of off. So like instead of something like drink more water with Simple Modern, it would be like that's not a good subject line. Something like Simple Modern X Erin on Demand paid partnership. That's it. Making that subject line look like you know what you're doing, because that is how the big brands typically give their outreach. You also want to include a campaign overview, like of some sort. It can just be a couple sentences. If it is spring cleaning is top of mind right now, and we've got the best all natural cleaning products, and we want you to showcase how you're using them to spring clean. It doesn't have to be anything over the top, okay? It just needs to get the point across, so I can know, okay, I could do a day in the life and use these products, or I could do a clean with me reel, or just to get the creators' wheels turning on the direction of the campaign. Some companies also, when they're extremely nitpicky, they will send a deck, which is basically like a bunch of slides that share all different types of things like do's and don'ts, and the campaign overviews, different campaign content examples, things like that. I don't think that that's completely necessary, especially if you're a smaller business and don't have the bandwidth to do that. But to at least give some type of campaign overview is very helpful. Another thing you want to make sure you list in this email is the deliverables. So what is it that you want the creator to create? Is it an Instagram reel? Is it a YouTube video, a full YouTube video? Is it a 2-minute YouTube integration, a 30-second YouTube integration, a TikTok, a combination of them? You want to list out all of those deliverables that you are expecting. And then if you have a tight budget, then you want to lead with your budget, especially if you are reaching out to larger influencers who charge tens of thousands of dollars for any level of content. So if you are reaching out to a big influencer and you already know that your budget is a little bit more modest than what they are probably used to getting paid, I would personally put it in the email. Now, bigger brands, like the big head honcho brands like the Targets and the Amazons and the Adobes and things like that, they will ask you, how much does this cost? Ideally we would like 1, 2, 3. How much will that cost for you? And your management or you will respond with the price of what those deliverables cost. Now, this is the benefit of reaching out to and starting with smaller creators, because you are much more likely to be able to negotiate with more modest pricing with smaller content creators. The negotiation process is probably going to be a lot simpler. So you want to put those deliverables down. You want to put how much your budget is. And honestly, the budget it's kind of like a power play, because if you put your budget first and the person comes back and asks for a little more, and maybe their rates weren't even that high, but I think it's better when you actually have a tight budget to be more upfront with how much your brand can pay for this content that you're looking for. And then the influencer can come back and say, well, my rates are technically, a bit higher. Instead of 2 deliverables, I can do 1 deliverable for what you're willing to pay. And you negotiate in that way. And then in the email, you also want to include exclusivity and usage rights. So basically, exclusivity is how exclusive is this content creator to you and for how long? So if you have a planner company like me, maybe you say, okay, you can't promote any other planner companies for the next 30 days. And also we have rights to usage would be, we have rights to use this content for paid advertising, for organic advertising. Like, you outline how you're planning to use this content after the creator has created it. And as a creator, they can charge you more for that. So if you're not only using it for organic purposes, so say you're going to repost it to your Instagram feed, maybe you're going to repost it to TikTok, and you're not going to put any money behind it. You're not going to have their face on a billboard or like on a commercial. That is what usage is. So it's how you're going to be using that content moving forward and for how long. So that is the email. Okay, you want your name, you want a strong subject line, you want some type of campaign brief, you want to be personable, and you also want those deliverables, you want usage and exclusivity. That is going to make you look like you know what the heck you doing. Okay, number 6 is about gifts. Gifts are gifts, okay? So if you were to give somebody a birthday gift, right? They just have it, okay? Whether or not they use it or do whatever you intended for them to do with it is on them, because at that point, you've given them the gift. That is how gifting works with sponsorships or with brands. I know a lot of small businesses are, trying to make the most out of each and every product, but that is something you have to realize, is that gifting is honestly cheaper than paying for content creators to advertise. So regardless of if they ever use it, I have sent many notebooks to creators, and they may or may not post about it, and that's fine. But also, that would mean that I would have to pay them probably tens of thousands of dollars, depending on who it is, to get them to post about my brand. And at some point, I do plan to do that. But at this point, we ain't doing that right now. And so I think you just have to be mindful when it comes to gifts that no one is obligated to post if you have gifted them something. That is completely no strings attached. So if you are very adamant about having a content creator use your products and post them and show them off to their communities, you are going to have some type of contract in place, and you are 9 times out of 10 going to have to pay them. This is not to say that no one will post if you gift them. This is just to say that is a risk that you're taking by gifting and not making it an official deal. Now, if you have a company where it's like you're getting gifted something that is worth $1,000+, then they are able to put that in contract. So, for example, when we had our office space, we had a contract with Ashley Furniture, and they furnished a good portion of our office. Now, that was a paid brand deal because the value of that furniture was worth thousands of dollars. So in that case, gifting does make sense. Or if you're being gifted a vacation and you're staying at a 5-star resort and it's, a total of $5,000 worth of hotel fees, then yes, you are going to have to put that in contract, and that is considered a paid brand deal, even though you're not making monetized, like physical cash from that deal. All right, number 7 is don't get discouraged, but also just know that you are competing with large brands who have big budgets, okay? And they take influencer marketing by storm, and it is very, very difficult for people who make their living off of brand deals, or this is a big part of their income, to take smaller deals, because at this point their families' lives are at the expense of these deals, and their time and their energy, and it can be really difficult for content creators to even take the time out to dig into your brand, as amazing as it probably is, to then be like, okay, let me give this a shot. It's a risk at that point for a lot of influencers who are continuously and used to taking brand deals and used to going through their management and having negotiations, and who have very firm rates. Okay. So I don't want you to be discouraged if you reach out to one of your favorite influencers and they turn you down. I think that that's just motivation to continue to build your brand and to continue to get it to a point where creators are wanting to work with you, because it's possible. There are so many entrepreneurs who started off as small businesses and who worked their way up and who, did other types of marketing as well. You don't want to only lean on influencer marketing. You want to do some paid ads. You want to do influencer marketing. You want to do some organic stuff. Be diverse on the platforms that your products or services are on. Really do the thing, have events and curate experiences for your community. And these types of things are really, really attractive to content creators. When you have a specific style or a specific message that your content speaks to, or that your product or your brand speaks to. Mission-based companies are really good, because if you find influencers who are really, really passionate about the mission that your brand serves, then that's also an easy way to kind of insert yourself and kind of attach yourself to something that at their core is really, really important. And so if you have a mission-based business, I think using that as well to your advantage is really, really smart. And lastly, just know that marketing is a long-term game. Influencers, I don't care if they have 1 million followers, they might convert 100 sales for you. And somebody who has 10,000 followers may convert 1,000 sales for you. You just have no idea. Or you might just not get really any sales from influencer marketing. And this does not mean that it's not working. I think that the way you have to look at it now is that this is building brand awareness. Influencers have a large audience, they have people who trust them. And when they're sharing your brand in their content, they are essentially like selling for you. Even if no sales come from it, you just never know how many people, how many eyeballs will look at that. And then if they see something else that you've marketed, maybe a paid ad, and then they see, you're hosting an event or, whatever, they keep having these touch points with your brand. At some point, it will click and that sale can convert. So you have to look at marketing as a long-term game, especially influencer marketing. That's why it's really good for brands to do recurring deals. We love doing long-term deals with our partners because I know that it's a lot more likely for my community to really trust that I love this product or I love this service if I'm constantly talking about it like multiple times versus one time, and the likelihood of them converting in one time is very slim. So this is also something to consider if you are looking for like brand ambassadors or having people who just constantly talk about what your brand is. Having those multiple touch points with their audience is going to be like, it would almost be more smart to like team up with an influencer and really go nose deep with them with like 1 or 2 or 3 people than to have like 10 to 20 influencers that you're trying to negotiate all these different deals with. And, you know, essentially you're not making as much of an impact as you could if you just really went in with a handful of people. So I'm out of breath, y'all. Oh, and the last thing, follow up. Make sure you follow up. All right, you guys, this video was a little bit long, but I hope it was helpful. Bye for now.